Why some Social Security deposits are suddenly bigger. Over the past few days, many seniors across the country have been checking their bank accounts a little more closely than usual. And for some, the number they saw didn't match what they expected. Instead of their normal Social Security payment, there was more, sometimes a little more, sometimes hundreds of dollars more. In a smaller number of cases, even close to $2,000. That kind of surprise can trigger a lot of emotions at once: relief, confusion, suspicion. And for many seniors living on fixed incomes, one immediate question rises above all others. Is this real? So let's start with clarity. These deposits are not a new stimulus program. They are not bonus payments, and they are not something everyone automatically receives. What's happening is much quieter and much more personal. These are what the Social Security Administration calls special deposits. They are corrections, adjustments, or back payments that were owed to specific individuals and are now being processed. Sometimes it's a delayed cost of living adjustment. Sometimes it's a recalculation of past benefits. Sometimes it's a disability or SSI case that took months or years to finalize. When the system catches up, the money arrives all at once. For seniors who have been stretching every dollar, that moment can feel overwhelming. But it's important to understand what these deposits represent, and just as important to understand what they do not mean. This isn't a sign that everyone is getting extra money. It's a sign that the system is correcting past gaps, one account at a time. And understanding that difference is what protects you from confusion, panic, or scams as this news spreads. What these special deposits really are and what they are not. Now that we understand why some Social Security deposits are suddenly larger, the next step is clearing up one of the biggest sources of confusion: what these payments actually represent. When people hear about extra money showing up in bank accounts, it's easy to assume this is some kind of new program, a bonus, a stimulus, something rolled out broadly for everyone. That is not what's happening here. These special deposits are not gifts, they are not rewards, and they are not automatic payments sent to all seniors. In almost every case, they are money that was already owed, but delayed somewhere in the system. Social Security handles millions of individual records. Those records include work history, earnings reports, disability determinations, cost of living adjustments, and eligibility reviews. When even one piece of that information is late, miscalculated, or updated after the fact, it can affect payment amounts. When the system later corrects itself, it doesn't spread the adjustment out quietly over years. It sends the difference all at once. That lump sum is what people are seeing now. This is why amounts vary so widely. One person might receive $120, another might see $500. A smaller group may receive $1,500 or more. The number depends entirely on the individual situation, not on a universal rule. And just as important, not receiving a special deposit does not mean something is wrong. In most cases, it simply means your benefits were calculated correctly from the start. Nothing was missed, nothing needs fixing. And while it may not feel exciting, accuracy is actually the best outcome. Understanding this keeps expectations realistic. It helps you stay calm instead of suspicious, grateful instead of anxious, and protected from misinformation as rumors spread. These deposits aren't about something new beginning. They're about the system catching up, one account at a time. The most common reasons: these extra payments happen to truly feel calm when you see an unexpected deposit. It helps to understand why these special payments happen in the first place. In almost every case, the reason is not mysterious, it's procedural. One of the most common causes is cost of living adjustments, also known as COLA. Each year, Social Security benefits are adjusted to help keep up with inflation, but sometimes those adjustments don't line up perfectly with a person's individual record right away. When the system later realizes an amount should have been slightly higher, it sends the difference. Another frequent reason involves earnings record updates. Employers don't always report income on time. In some cases, information from years ago is corrected or added later. When Social Security recalculates benefits using updated earnings data, it may discover that someone was underpaid. Rather than adjusting only future checks, the system goes back and pays what was missed. For many recipients, especially those on SSDI, approvals can take a long time. Applications are reviewed, appealed, and reevaluated. When a claim is finally approved, the Social Security Administration looks back to the months when benefits should have started and issues a back payment. That lump sum can appear suddenly and look like a special deposit. SSI recipients may also see adjustments. SSI is sensitive to changes in income, housing, and reported resources. If something was calculated incorrectly or processed late, a supplemental payment may be issued to correct it. And finally, there are administrative backlogs. Millions of cases are handled by real people. Delays happen. When they're resolved, the payments that were owed are released. None of this is about bonuses. It's about corrections. And once you understand that, an unexpected deposit becomes far less confusing and far less frightening. Who is most likely to see one of these deposits? After understanding what special deposits are and why they happen, the next question many seniors ask is straightforward. Am I someone who might actually see one of these payments? The honest answer is that it depends entirely on your individual record. Some retirees receiving traditional Social Security benefits may see a deposit if something in their work history was updated or corrected. This could include income that was reported late, a recalculation after continuing to work longer than expected, or a small underpayment that accumulated over time. Recipients of SSI may also be included in these adjustments. Because SSI is closely tied to financial need, even small reporting changes can affect payment amounts. If the system later determines that an earlier calculation was off, a supplemental payment may be issued to correct it. For SSDI recipients, special deposits are often tied to delayed approvals. Disability claims frequently take months, sometimes years, to resolve. When approval finally comes, the Social Security Administration reviews the entire eligible period and sends back payments for the month's benefits should have been received. Veterans who receive Social Security benefits alongside other programs may also see adjustments if overlapping records were reconciled or updated. But it's just as important to say this clearly. Many people will not receive any special deposit at all. That does not mean you were overlooked. It does not mean something is wrong. In most cases, it simply means your benefits were calculated correctly from the beginning and nothing needed to be adjusted. Social Security is not a blanket system where everyone receives the same outcome. It is individualized, based on years of work history, benefit type, and timing. Understanding this helps set realistic expectations and prevents unnecessary worry when someone else's experience looks different from your own. Why many people will not receive anything, and why that's okay. At this point, it's important to pause and address something that can quietly cause disappointment if it's not explained clearly. Many seniors will not receive a special deposit, and that outcome is not bad news. In fact, in most cases, it means the system has been working exactly as it should. Social Security benefits are calculated based on detailed, individualized records, work history, earnings, benefit type, approval timing, and past adjustments. When everything lines up correctly from the beginning, there is nothing to fix. No underpayment, no delayed calculation, no correction required. That's why no extra money appears. It can be emotionally difficult to hear about others receiving hundreds or even thousands of dollars while nothing changes in your own account. But Social Security is not like a rebate program or a sale where everyone gets the same result. It is deeply personal. Two neighbors can retire in the same year. Two siblings can have similar incomes. Two friends can receive the same benefit type and still end up with completely different outcomes, all while the system is operating correctly. Comparing your situation to someone else's is one of the fastest ways to create unnecessary stress. What looks like a benefit for one person may simply be a delayed correction that took months or years to resolve. Not receiving a special deposit does not mean you were skipped, you were treated unfairly, you are missing money you're entitled to. In most cases, it simply means your payments have been accurate and consistent. Accuracy may not feel exciting, but it provides stability, and stability is what Social Security is designed to deliver. Understanding this helps you stay grounded, protects your peace of mind, and keeps expectations realistic as these stories continue to circulate. When and how these deposits usually show up. One of the most confusing parts of special Social Security deposits is timing. Seniors are used to predictable schedules. Retirement benefits usually arrive on a specific Wednesday. SSI typically comes on the first of the month. That consistency creates comfort. Special deposits don't follow those rules. These payments are processed separately from your regular monthly benefit. They are sent when a correction is completed, not when your normal payment is due. That's why they can appear on almost any day of the week. Some people see a deposit a few days before their regular payment. Others notice it after their normal deposit has already arrived. Some see it midweek when nothing is usually scheduled at all. This unpredictability is normal. Another factor is batch processing. Social Security reviews groups of accounts at a time. When a group of corrections is finalized, those payments are released together through the Treasury system. Depending on your bank, the deposit may appear early in the morning, later in the day, or briefly show as pending before it clears. When the money shows up, it usually looks familiar. The description may say SSA, Social Security, or U.S. Treasury. It won't be labeled as a bonus, promotion, or special program. The main difference you'll notice is the amount and sometimes the timing. If you don't see anything right away, that does not mean something is wrong. These deposits can roll out over several days or even weeks, depending on how long your particular correction took to process. The best approach is simple. Check your account periodically, but don't obsess. Constant refreshing creates stress without speeding anything up. Understanding the timing helps you stay calm and reminds you that when it comes to these deposits, surprise does not mean mistake. What to do if a deposit suddenly appears for seniors living on fixed incomes? Seeing an unexpected deposit can trigger a rush of emotion. Relief often comes first, then confusion and sometimes fear, especially in a world where scams are common and misinformation spreads fast. That's why what you do first matters. The most important step is to pause. Before spending anything, take a moment to confirm where the money came from. Look closely at the transaction details in your bank account. Legitimate deposits usually show as coming from the Social Security Administration or the U.S. Treasury. The wording may be brief, but it should look similar to your regular benefit deposits. Next, check your mail or your online Social Security account if you have one. In many cases, the SSA sends a letter explaining why the payment was issued and how it was calculated. Sometimes the letter arrives before the money. Sometimes it comes days or even weeks after. Both situations are normal. It's also a good idea to write down a few details for your own records: the date the deposit arrived, the exact amount, and how it appeared on your bank statement. Keeping this note with your financial papers can make things much easier if questions ever come up later. Another smart move is to give the deposit a little time to fully clear. Even though it may show up immediately, waiting a day or two helps avoid issues related to pending holds or system adjustments. This isn't about suspicion. It's about confidence. By slowing down and confirming the basics, you protect yourself from mistakes, misunderstandings, and unnecessary stress, and you put yourself in control before deciding what comes next. How to use the money wisely, if it's legitimate. Once you've confirmed that a special deposit is real and fully cleared, the next question becomes personal. What should I do with it? For many seniors, this money doesn't feel like extra. It feels like relief, a chance to catch up after months of stretching every dollar. That perspective matters because it helps guide calmer, wiser choices. A thoughtful first step is to consider stability. Setting aside even a small portion, $50 or $100, as an emergency cushion can make a real difference. Unexpected expenses have a way of showing up without warning. A higher prescription cost, a car repair, a home maintenance issue. Having a small buffer reduces anxiety later. Next, think about pressure points. Are there overdue bills that have been weighing on your mind? Balances that create stress every time you open the mail? Using part of the deposit to reduce that burden can bring immediate peace of mind, often more valuable than any purchase. Health is another priority many seniors postpone. New glasses, dental care, a checkup you delayed because the budget felt too tight. If this deposit allows you to take care of yourself, that's not indulgence, it's responsible. It's also okay to allow a small moment of joy, a meal out, a modest gift for a grandchild, something that reminds you life isn't only about managing expenses. The key is intentionality, not impulse. One gentle reminder: you don't need to share details widely. Your finances are personal. Oversharing can sometimes invite pressure or unwanted attention. This money represents a correction, not a windfall. Using it thoughtfully helps turn a surprise into something lasting: calm, stability, and confidence in your next steps. The most common scams linked to extra Social Security money. Whenever news spreads about unexpected Social Security deposits, something else almost always follows: scams. And they tend to appear quickly, targeting seniors who are simply trying to understand what's happening with their benefits. This is why awareness is just as important as confirmation. Scammers often pretend to be helpful, You may receive a phone call claiming to be from Social Security, saying your deposit is on hold and needs verification. You might get a text message with a link urging you to activate or release your payment. Some messages even look official at first glance, but there are clear warning signs. The Social Security Administration will never call you unexpectedly to ask for your full Social Security number. They will never demand your bank account details over the phone. They will never ask for gift cards, prepaid cards, or processing fees to release money. Urgency is the giveaway. If someone pressures you to act immediately, threatens consequences, or says the money will disappear unless you respond right now, stop. Take a breath. That is not how the government operates. Real Social Security communication is slow and formal. It usually comes by mail. When phone contact is necessary, it happens after you initiate it through an official number, not through a surprise call. If you ever feel unsure, the safest move is to hang up and contact Social Security directly using the phone number on their official website or one of your previous benefit letters. You can also speak with your bank before taking any action. Banks see these scams daily and can help you spot red flags. Being cautious doesn't mean you're suspicious, it means you're experienced. Protecting yourself from scams is part of protecting the benefits you worked a lifetime to earn, especially when news like this creates confusion and opportunity for bad actors. Why not everyone gets the same amount? One of the most difficult parts of hearing about special Social Security deposits is seeing how different the amounts can be. Some people mention a small adjustment, others talk about hundreds of dollars, a few even receive close to $2,000. It's natural to wonder why. The key reason is that Social Security is calculated individually, not collectively. There is no flat rate, no universal bonus. Every amount is tied directly to a person's own history and circumstances. Your benefit is shaped by years of work, reported earnings, benefit type, approval timing, and past adjustments. When the system discovers an underpayment, it doesn't round numbers or average things out. It calculates the exact difference that should have been paid, no more, no less. That's why one person might receive a small deposit for a minor correction, while another receives a much larger amount for months of delayed benefits. This is especially true for disability cases. Someone who waited a long time for SSDI approval may receive a larger back payment because multiple months were involved. In contrast, a retiree whose COLA adjustment was slightly off may only see a modest correction. Comparing amounts can be emotionally draining. It can create the feeling that something is unfair or that someone else received something you didn't. But in most cases, those differences simply reflect different timelines and records, not favoritism. Social Security does not operate like a giveaway program. It operates like an accounting system. Understanding that helps remove unnecessary frustration. It reminds you that your outcome is not tied to anyone else's, and that accuracy, not equality, is the goal. When you let go of comparisons, it becomes easier to focus on what truly matters: stability, clarity, and peace of mind in your own financial life. Why emotional reactions matter more than the money. At this stage, it's important to talk about something that often gets overlooked when extra Social Security deposits appear: the emotional impact. Money after retirement is rarely just about numbers. It's about safety, independence, and dignity. So when an unexpected deposit shows up, or when you hear others talking about theirs, it can stir up powerful feelings. For some seniors, there is relief, a chance to breathe. For others, there is disappointment, confusion, even self-doubt. You might wonder if you missed something, if you should have done more, if someone else was treated better than you were. Those feelings are normal, but they can quietly lead to poor decisions if they go unchecked. Emotional reactions often push people toward comparison, comparing amounts, comparing timing, comparing outcomes, and comparison rarely brings peace. It usually brings frustration, even when nothing unfair has actually occurred. It's also common for unexpected money to trigger urgency, the feeling that it must be spent quickly or that a rare opportunity will be wasted. That pressure can lead to impulsive choices that don't truly serve your long-term stability. This is why slowing down matters so much. Whether you received a deposit or not, your financial situation did not suddenly define your worth. Your history, your effort, and your contribution were never measured by one payment or one adjustment. Social Security adjustments are mechanical. Your life is not. Staying emotionally grounded helps you respond wisely instead of reactively. It allows you to make choices based on your needs, not your emotions. And it protects the peace of mind that is far more valuable than any short-term surprise. In retirement, calm thinking is one of your greatest assets. What it really means if you receive nothing at all. For many seniors watching this situation unfold, the most difficult outcome isn't receiving a small deposit, it's receiving nothing while others talk about unexpected money. And this is where perspective matters most. If no special deposit appears in your account, it does not mean you were overlooked. It does not mean someone else took what should have been yours. And it does not mean the system failed you. In most cases, it means something very specific. Your benefits were already calculated correctly. There was no underpayment to fix, no delayed adjustment, no backlog tied to your record. That accuracy can feel invisible, especially when money is tight. But it's actually a sign that your benefits have been stable and consistent, something many people don't experience. It's also important to remember that Social Security is not designed to create equal outcomes. It is designed to create accurate ones. Two people can live similar lives and still have very different benefit histories because of timing, reporting, approvals, and countless technical details. This is why chasing comparisons is so harmful. Someone else's deposit does not reduce your security. Someone else's correction does not reflect your value. If anything, receiving nothing often means there is nothing hanging unresolved in your file. No waiting, no adjustment still pending in the system. That clarity has value. The healthiest response is not frustration, but grounding. Continue budgeting as you always have. Continue managing your benefits thoughtfully. And if something ever truly feels off, you always have the right to ask questions through official channels, calmly, without fear. Retirement is not about chasing every rumor. It's about protecting stability. And sometimes stability shows up quietly, as consistency, accuracy, and the absence of surprises. That may not feel exciting, but it is exactly what Social Security was built to provide. How to stay informed without being overwhelmed. As news about special Social Security deposits spreads, one of the biggest challenges for seniors isn't lack of information. It's too much of it. Videos, posts, messages, and headlines can make it feel like something new is happening every day. Some sound hopeful, others sound alarming, many contradict each other, and over time, that constant noise can quietly increase stress. This is where discernment becomes essential. Staying informed does not mean consuming everything. It means choosing reliable, calm sources and ignoring content designed to provoke fear or excitement. Legitimate updates from Social Security are usually slow, written, and specific. They don't rely on dramatic language or urgent countdowns. If something real changes, it will be reflected consistently across official channels, your online SSA account, mailed notices, or clear statements from government agencies. Real information repeats itself calmly. Rumors change constantly. Another helpful practice is setting boundaries. Decide how often you'll check for updates, once a day, once a week, and stick to it. Constant refreshing doesn't speed up deposits or corrections. It only increases anxiety. It's also important to protect your emotional space. Financial uncertainty already carries weight. Adding non-stop speculation makes that weight heavier. Stepping back is not avoidance. It's self-care. If questions arise about your own account, the most reliable step is contacting Social Security directly through official channels or speaking with your bank. That brings clarity without noise. You've spent your life making careful decisions. That wisdom doesn't disappear in retirement. Staying informed without being overwhelmed allows you to respond thoughtfully, not react emotionally. And in situations like this, thoughtful responses protect both your finances and your peace of mind. Far better than chasing every new headline ever could. Clarity, calm, and moving forward with confidence. As we come to the end of this series, it's important to step back and look at the bigger picture, not just the deposits themselves, but what understanding them truly gives you. Special Social Security deposits are not signs of a new program, they are not promises of future payments, and they are not something everyone should expect. They are corrections, the system catching up where it needed to. For some seniors, that correction arrives as an unexpected deposit. For many others, it doesn't arrive at all because nothing was ever missing. Both outcomes are normal. Neither one defines your worth, your effort, or your success in retirement. What matters most is clarity. Clarity helps you stay calm when surprises happen. Clarity helps you avoid scams and misinformation. Clarity helps you make thoughtful decisions instead of emotional ones. When you understand how the system works, it loses its power to scare you or mislead you. You no longer feel pulled by rumors or shaken by someone else's story. Retirement was never meant to be about chasing every headline or worrying over every deposit. It's about protecting your peace, managing what you can control, and trusting the wisdom you've built over a lifetime. If money arrives unexpectedly, you now know how to confirm it, understand it, and use it wisely. If nothing arrives, you also know that nothing is wrong. Your stability is intact. That confidence matters more than any one payment. As things continue to evolve, remember this: real information is calm, consistent, and verifiable. When something truly changes, it won't arrive with fear or pressure. It will arrive with clarity and time to understand. You've earned that clarity, you've earned that calm, and moving forward with confidence, not worry, is one of the greatest benefits you can give yourself in this stage of life.